All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about something pretty profound, all the invaluable life lessons that you just can't buy, no matter how much money you have in the bank. So, let's kick things off with this really powerful question. I want you to honestly ask yourself this. What would I have lost? What part of me would be missing if I'd just been given everything I ever wanted right on a silver platter? Okay, so first up, let's tackle the allure of more. You know, that sneaky little idea that so many of us fall for, the illusion that if we just had more money, all our worries would just evaporate, that wealth is the secret password to inner peace. And come on, it's a super relatable thought, right? If only I didn't have to worry about bills, I'd be calm, balanced, and confident. The author was right there too, absolutely convinced that a bigger bank account was a ticket to a stress-free life. But here's the funny thing that happened. The money came, but the fear didn't leave. It just upgraded. It put on a suit and tie. The fear of not having enough for rent morphed into the fear of not investing that money correctly. The anxiety was still there, just with a fancier vocabulary. And that's when the big realization hits. True peace has absolutely nothing to do with your bank account. It's all about how you relate to life, your mindset. It's an inside job, you know? It doesn't come from an ATM. So that brings us right to the core of this whole thing. What are the things money can't buy? The virtues we actually have to earn for ourselves. And this list, this is really the heart of it all. Think about it. Discipline, gratitude, real relationships, courage, patience, even the maturity you get from failing. Sure, money can get you a nice car and a comfortable house, but it can't buy you the guts to start that business, or the patience to deal with a difficult situation, or the wisdom that only comes from messing up and learning from it. I love this idea that discipline isn't a monthly subscription. You can't just add to cart. It's something you build, brick by brick, every single day. It's that choice to save a little cash instead of spending it, or to pick up a book for 30 minutes instead of getting lost in a social media black hole. It's a muscle, and you've got to work it out. And this one is huge. You can have the dream house, the perfect car, but if you don't have gratitude, it all feels empty. You'll always be looking for the next thing. Gratitude is what flips the switch in your brain that says, wow, what I have right now is actually amazing. Without it, you're on a treadmill that never stops. And what about relationships? Sure, you can throw money at people, buy fancy gifts, host big parties, but you can't buy real love. You can't buy a friend who will show up for you at 3 a.m. when your life is falling apart. That stuff, that's built on trust, on time, on real connection. It doesn't have a price tag. Okay, so let's get into our next section, the price of wisdom. Because, we often think money can buy us a shortcut to anything. But as we're about to see, the most valuable lessons, well, they have a completely different kind of tuition fee. So the author shares this really personal story about losing a ton of money on a bad investment. And the pain of that loss was just immense. You can imagine, right? It felt like a total gut-wrenching failure. But here's the twist. Looking back on it, that incredibly painful lesson was actually worth more than the money that was lost. Why? Because it taught humility, caution. It basically paid for an education that prevented even bigger, way more disastrous mistakes later on. And that's the key takeaway here. Life has this non-negotiable entrance fee for wisdom. And you don't pay it with cash. You pay for it with experience. You pay with your time. And yes, sometimes you pay for it with pain. There's just no way to sneak past the ticket counter on that one. So, where does that leave us? How are we supposed to think about money then? Well, this last section is all about that. It's about reframing our whole relationship with wealth and seeing it for what it truly is. I absolutely love this idea of money as a mirror. It doesn't make you who you are, it just shows you who you are on a bigger scale. When you have very little, it shows you just how resourceful and creative you can be. And when you have a lot, it shows how responsible and generous you are, or not. It's an amplifier for the character that's already there. Because at the end of the day, that's what money is. It's just a tool. A very powerful hammer, let's say. But if you don't know who you are or what you're trying to build, you can do a lot more damage with that hammer than good. It can just create a whole lot of confusion. And look, if you're struggling with money right now, I want you to hear this. This is not about saying that being broke is somehow noble. Not at all. It's about a shift in perspective. It's about seeing that maybe, just maybe, the exact lesson you need to learn in life is hidden right inside that struggle. the kind of inner strength you can't get from a paycheck. So, I want to leave you with this question. I'm turning it back to you now. What's the most important lesson you've ever learned that money had nothing to do with? What did you have to pay for with your time, your effort, or your tears? Think about it, because that's where the real treasure is.